Okay, so we'll go to our first call here. We're going to go to Kentucky, and we're going to speak to Patrick. Hi, Patrick. How are you today?
Hey, guys. How are you all doing today? Can you hear me well?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Perfect. Quick question for you, just a quick background. I'm in a strenuous graduate program, developed major depression. Long story short, that took me to kind of an existential crisis. I kind of went into kind of atheism and started to question a lot of things, even my marriage. We went through a counselor. It was a little helpful, but then it just kind of ultimately wasn't much help, and I really was looking for answers, and I just couldn't really get any. My wife and I separated for about a few weeks, and then we decided to get a divorce after a few weeks of separation. And then we weren't, she didn't want to be intimate during the separation because she felt like, that was too hard for her. After we decided to get a divorce, about a month later, I made a mistake and was intimate with a friend of hers. And after that, I went through, I had been going through therapy, got on medication that was very, very helpful for me with my depression and helped me see things a lot clearer. And I wanted to reconcile the marriage. Found out that my wife knew about the event a few months back, and she was very obviously furious at me, understandably. And she doesn't want to reconcile. She wants to continue with the divorce. She never told me that she found out. I had to find out from someone else, and she still hasn't said anything to me about it. But she's just continuously adamant about the divorce and doesn't really want to talk at all. And I'm not really sure how to kind of move forward. I've started the course. I've been in the course for a couple of weeks. It's been very helpful. I'm not really sure how to move forward as far as standing on my values and kind of, really change myself spiritually. So I wanted to know, one, have you all seen anyone kind of come back from something like this? And two, how do I move forward as far as reconciling with my wife?
Well, in answer to the first question, we've seen people come back from anything and everything you can imagine.
Sure.
I mean, we could just throw a list of things where people would say that's an impossibility. People could never reconcile after that, and yet we've seen it. Understand that we've been doing this I've been in this business for 25 years, and in those 25 years, I've seen just amazing things occur. So yes, it is a possibility. Now, the next thing you need to understand, though, is this. You cannot do anything to make her want to reconcile. Understand that whatever you do to try to influence her back toward you. But if you try to push it, if you try to force it, in all likelihood, it's going to have just the exact opposite effect. It's going to make her move away from you rather than toward you. So, Kimberly, when we talk about things such as the PIES, the P-I-E-S, and talk about things like being a safe place and things like that,
right.
Those are things we talk about that hopefully will draw the person back to you. So very quickly, just, the very brief version, explain to them what PIES are, please.
The PIES are the 4 areas of attraction that we focus on here at Marriage Helper, but they stand for the following. The P is the physical attraction, and typically this is what we think of when we hear the word attraction. We think we need to lose weight, gain weight. It's all about how I look. And while that can be one of the first things that people notice about us that draws them closer to us, it's not what over a long period of time continues to be the most important part of attraction. Then there's the intellectual part of attraction. And what this part really talks about and focuses on is, do I have something in common with the other person? And am I the kind of person who's continuing to grow and learn myself to be a fascinating person? Can I carry on conversations? Am I the kind of person other people enjoy talking to? And then we get to the emotional part of attraction. And in that, we're focusing on, do I evoke emotions within other people that they enjoy feeling? Because if you don't, then other people aren't going to want to be around you. It's an incredibly important part of attraction. In our estimation, the most important part of attraction, because if no one wants to be around you, it's hard to carry on a relationship from there.
No matter how good you look or how you come across intellectually, if they don't like being around you because you evoke negative emotions, they'll still avoid you.
Around you.
They'll avoid you.
And you see, a lot of times when we get into the final one, which is the S, so that stands for spiritual attraction, we'll get some kickback, and especially from people who are people of some kind of faith, and they'll say, well, isn't that the most important kind of attraction? Because you want to have someone who is a Christian or the same, religion as you. To which I respond back and say, well, anyone could be a Christian, I'll pick on my own religion, anyone can be a Christian, but they could still be a jerk. Jesus called them hypocrites, and he really didn't like them. So, no, the spiritual attraction is an important part of attraction. It's where you get really deep with your beliefs and your values. And when you can connect with someone else on those levels, it makes your relationship that more meaningful. But it still goes back to the emotional part of attraction. If that person's a jerk, or jerkette, as Joe likes to say, then the relationship's still going to fall apart. So it's important to focus on all four of these areas.
Yeah, each of the four is extremely important. Now, understand, even if you're not religious, the spiritual is extremely important because it applies to and refers to beliefs and values. And whether you're religious or not, you have a set of beliefs and values. And we tend to be drawn toward people that we perceive as having similar or that we perceive as having superior beliefs and values to our own. So if we go back here to Patrick just for a second, my friend, what's going to happen here then is this, if you can still hear me there. You can draw your wife back, hopefully, by doing these kinds of things, but be very, very careful that in your desire, your need to try to put this marriage back together, that you don't come across as desperate and that you don't come across as pushing or controlling. Is that making any sense to you at all, my friend?
Yes, it is. I have already made those mistakes before I started the course, so that's kind of why we haven't talked in over a month. I did a lot of push behavior. He was very hurt and got obviously angry and expressed it through anger. And so far I've just kind of backed off and, I've already did all those mistakes, pushed and became desperate and all those things. So now I've backed off. I've really been working on my pies, especially the emotional part. That's been the hardest part for me. So I've really been trying to work on that pretty heavily. So that's what I'm just doing right now. I haven't had any contact with her at all. We don't have any children. We're still in our 20s, so we're very young. We don't have any children or anything of that nature. So no business necessarily. So I'm just kind of holding back until sometime that, we can have a connection. I'm not sure. I just haven't contacted her at all. She's made it pretty adamant that she doesn't want to have any contact.
And then it makes sense not to do that. Remember here, Patrick, that if you have any friends in common, do not try to program those friends to tell her how well you're doing and how you're changing, because that'll come across as manipulation and won't work. But if you have those mutual friends, the more that you actually become the better you, the best Patrick you can be, the greater the likelihood that the message is going to get through to her through someone else. Hey, you should see how Patrick's grown. You should see how Patrick has become the better person than he was before. And if that were to occur, then you have a possibility of being able to put this back together. But it's a matter of drawing her back gently, not trying to force her back.